Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of AFRO Live. I am so ecstatic to be with you on this beautiful Thursday morning here in the District of Columbia, at least, and wherever you are in the world tuning in with us. I hope that this Thursday is absolutely fantastic for you. I am really honored to have a great, I know, robust conversation with the ever inspiring Faith Gibson Hubbard. I have to tell you, and I did not tell you this or pre warn you, I have quoted you before from like just great tweets you've done or things like that in the past in the Afro, particularly as it relates to education and things happening here in the District of Columbia. Just how you weigh in on happenings in the world is so intriguing and is such a great perspective. And so I'm really happy to have you here on Afro Live today. How are you doing?
I'm well, and it's really an honor to be here with you as well. And also I feel so honored that you've you've quoted things that I've said. So that lets me know I've been saying some good things.
You've been saying some great things. You've been saying great things. So, for those of you all who may need a reminder who Faith Gibson Hubbard is, she's the former director of the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs. And under Faith, there were 13 agencies, and she was running the show. She began her campaign for Ward 5 council member in September 2021. And sort of her career in public policy itself was inspired by a background in teaching, in
Mhm.
middle school teaching, which you're a hero in and of itself. Middle school is hard. I used to teach ninth grade, and
Yeah.
that's I would do like the summer transition. Those babies,
Oh,
they're
it's hard.
it's a
It's
special
hard for
breed
sure.
of babies. We love them. We love them, but it takes a special person.
It does.
And so, I'm just again so inspired by your more than decade in community advocacy and public service and policy. And so we're here to talk about all that you've been up to, not only in the world of education and politics, but health and particularly Black women in maternity.
Yes.
And so it's Women's History Month. We got a lot to talk
Yes, we
about.
do. Yes, we do.
So I guess let's jump right on in there
Okay.
because you advised and assisted our Mayor Bowser, in creating the Strong Family, Strong Future DC program, which we've heard a lot about. I love the wordiness, and catchphrasiness of it all. But it's also really important. The city allocated $1.5 million towards this pilot program to provide direct cash payments of $900 each month to 132 low income new parents and pregnant women in wards 5, 7, and 8, which we know are some of our hardest hit wards here in the District of Columbia. And unfortunately, some of our predominantly Black wards here in the District of
Mhm.
Columbia. So tell our listeners a little bit more about Strong Family, Strong Future DC. And how can they either get a part of this program to support or apply?
Yeah. So I want to go a little bit further back, if
Take
that's
it back,
okay.
take it
I
back.
want to take it back. I want to take it back. So, to actually Thrive by 5 DC in
Yes.
2019. So let's take the clock back to that. And in 2019, I was appointed to be the first executive director of Thrive by 5 DC. And that was really heart and passion work for me because I am also the mom of two. While I have accomplished many things, my most important accomplishments are being Emerson and Colton's mom. And that work of Thrive by 5 DC was focused on maternal health and early learning and development. And we know that in order for families to be strong families and have strong futures, we have to give them the best start. And so that work was really powerful for me because it was therapeutic and allowing me to recover from the traumas that I had experienced in my birthing journey, particularly with my daughter who just turned 4 last week. And my son is 8. But it's not easy having children, even when you have all of the resources that you need. Even when you have the type of employment that you need, it's not easy bringing a new love and life into your life. And so that work that started in 2019 around focusing on maternal and infant health and really lifting up the issues that Black women and Black birthing persons are dealing with, not just in the District of Columbia, but just in general, was really important to me. And so much of what you see now in Strong Families, Strong Futures came out of the work of Thrive by Five, the work of the Maternal and Infant Health Summit, and hearing from families here in the district and providers around what do families need. When my husband and I had our son 8 years ago, there was no instruction manual that came, and there was also no additional payments that came for the things that my son would need. Yes, I could breastfeed him, but there still was an increased cost in resources, diapers, formula, food, just supports that you need as a family, strollers and car seats and all these different things. And so the work of Thrive by Five is what made Strong Future, Strong Families possible. And that additional $900 a month is going to mean everything to families, because you have no idea what to expect when expecting. Literally, you don't. And not only on your mental health, but also like in the things that you can provide within your home. And so, the things that we heard with Thrive by Five, we can now see manifested in Strong Future, Strong Families. And also, it shows what was important in that work, too, which was, government can do some parts of it, but we have some really phenomenal community organizations that are doing awesome things like Martha's Table. And Strong Future, Strong Families is actually being administered through Martha's Table, who had done work throughout the pandemic. I had worked hand in hand, side by side with them on a lot of things around our city's COVID-19 response. And they're the perfect organization in order to implement this program on behalf of the government, because moms, families already trust them and go there for the resources that they need. So this is going to be just so impactful to make sure that our families that were already vulnerable, already needed support, can have the support that they need with no strings attached, right? Like we know what we need. We don't need someone to tell us what are those things, but we need just the extra resources. And it comes at an important time too, where, the child tax credit is no longer in effect. And we know that that was really impactful for many families, even families that weren't expecting it. And so this will be a great opportunity to kind of push our families forward in the district in a way that they absolutely need it, for those things that we know children bring along unexpected costs. And this will be really helpful.
And really didn't even think about this until just now. And as you were talking about it, how this is really a multi-generational effort,
Yes.
which I think is so important, because we talk about the pouring into certain groups, right? Particularly here in the district, we segment the groups that we're pouring into. But I think everything that you've talked about is so incredibly important because it impacts the entire family,
Mhm.
several age groups, and really no matter who you are, as you said, um, these kinds of supports and programs really can make a difference. And
Absolutely. It removes stigma. I think
yeah,
it also has the ability to remove stigma.
absolutely.
And that is something that we need more than anything right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, y'all, this is what happens when Faith and I get to talk. But just a quick aside, I think it goes back to sort of the notion of what COVID-19 unveiled, which is that we're, all really equal in sort of the place of when things happen, when life happens, none of us are safe financially,
Right.
and no matter who we are and what we're doing. But it also just shows us again, like you said, I mean, there there had not been a manual, right, in terms of parenting and what to do, and there's so many costs surrounding it that you're not necessarily prepared for. So I'm super
Right.
excited about this, and again, the whole support of the family. um so you're running for Ward 5.
I am.
So, congratulations.
Thank
That's a
you.
bold move. This month at the AFRO, we are celebrating women who win. And one of those areas is women who are brave enough to go into politics. So just kudos to you for
Thank
that,
you.
first and foremost. Um, and so, as someone who's been in public policy, public service, education, health for a number of years, and served the district for a number of years, how do you feel like you are able to serve the constituents of Ward 5. And how do you think those sort of positions you've held in the past have prepared you for this point?
So thank you for that question, because I think exactly what you said is exactly why I have stepped up to this responsibility. Is that I've already been serving the people of Ward 5 through all of the roles that I have done. And I wasn't an elected official. I started off serving the people of Ward 5 in a much more grassroots civic way with the Ward 5 Council on Education. And that was the first thing I did 12 years ago when my husband and I bought our home here and made Ward 5 our forever home. I decided to get involved and serve our community. And I've been serving my neighbors in Ward 5, even when the spotlight wasn't on my work. And I think that is something that absolutely sets me apart from my other colleagues, is that it's not about this moment, but it's about the track record and what I've been doing over time. So the roles that I have had both 20 years ago, starting as an educator in a middle school classroom, up until being the director of the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs, it's bringing resources to our community and to our families in ways that they need. I am a Ward 5 resident. This is my forever home. And so I am bringing services to my neighbors and removing barriers for my neighbors in ways that I would want people to remove them for me. And so I think the roles that I have held before are so important in being able to navigate government, which so many times a lot of our neighbors don't understand. We have very complex systems, and I've been able to break down those systems, whether it was when I was appointed by the State Board of Education to be the first chief student advocate, helping families understand special education isn't working for your children in their school. Okay, so how can we help you feel powerful in talking to the teacher? So creating a handbook to say, here are the step-by-step ways to do that. And I work with Ward 5 families to do that. During the COVID-19 response, bringing resources directly to the doors of many of our neighbors, groceries and how to test and how to apply for rental assistance. Those are the things that I've been doing in my various different roles. And those are the things that I will continue to do if I am an elected official. And, again, it's about what someone does when people aren't looking. And I've been doing a lot of work when people weren't looking in order to make a difference in the lives of my neighbors, and also to pour into things that would make a difference in my own life, because I'm raising my family here. We have put our roots down here. And so the things that I have done speak to just how much I love our community and how passionately I will continue to advocate on behalf of our community.
That passion exudes from you. It really does. And I think it's so great to hear you say that you've been doing things while no one is looking and not doing it for the shine, but folks have taken notice. And one of those people is former at-large council member David Grosso. And he's a Ward 5 resident, and we know former chairman of the DC's DC Council's Education Committee. And so he has endorsed you. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
But what does that endorsement mean to you? And sort of what can you do with that endorsement based off of Grosso's background and your own passions, particularly surrounding education?
Yeah. So I met Councilmember Grosso, wow, over a decade ago, when he was a council candidate, and I was advocating for two new middle schools to be realized in Ward 5, which now are McKinley Middle School and Brookland Middle School. At the time, we had education campuses, and they weren't working to the best needs of our students. And I knew that because I had been a middle school teacher, and I know how important that middle school phase is in making sure that a child is going to be prepared for those next steps. And so I met him then. And that was great. He was a candidate, he was revved up, ready to go. And then I encountered him again when I was chief student advocate for the District of Columbia, leading the Office of the Student Advocate, around advocating for issues that families were telling us were not working. Special education, student discipline. We needed a significant overhaul to student discipline, and we had to change his mind. And so advocating to him and saying, zero tolerance policies those don't work. That contributes to the school to prison pipeline, right? Like, what can we be doing that's better for students? Advocating to him how the Office of the Student Advocate and the Office of the Ombudsman needed to be more autonomous from the State Board of Education. So working with him, again, when the spotlight wasn't shining on the work, he could really see my passion. And, when I announced my candidacy, he was one of the first people that was like, Faith, you are the one. I have seen you doing the work. And I haven't seen some others doing the work, right? And so his endorsement to me means that, he lives in Ward 5. So I would be representing him. So that means a lot. But also it means that he knows how passionate and committed I am to this work. He also knows that women are an important part of our community. We lead in a different way. We represent in a different way. We often vote in the people who represent us at a high rate within our communities. And so he could see all of that. But not only did he just give his endorsement, he also believed so much in my candidacy that he came out and knocked on doors with me, both him and his wife, for not just the photo op, but to really hit the doors and tell voters about why I am the best person for the role. And, that means a lot because, it's not just putting his name on the line, but also saying, this is my neighborhood, this is my community, and I know her. I know the quality of her work. And so that means a lot to me in moving my candidacy and my campaign forward, because those are the type of authentic relationships, real working relationships, and evidence of that working relationship that has been poured into our community through changes to our student discipline policy, to an Office of the Student Advocate that still exists, to making sure that public education is something that's at the forefront of the council. And, with my candidacy, that's something that we need to bring back because there's no longer a committee on education, and we need to bring that back. It's not just about our young children, but it's also about workforce. It's about our seniors who want to age in place in the district. Education is a lifelong activity. And so his endorsement is just a further confirmation that I've taken the right step, and that will give my neighbors the confidence they need to know that the work that I've been doing, it's been here. It is something that's sustaining and something that I'm passionate about and will continue to do.
Well, there y'all have it, everybody. That is, again, just so inspiring. And to know that you'll be fighting again for all the district's residents, not just Ward 5 folks, particularly considering bringing back that Committee on Education, is
Mm-hmm.
really great to hear. So, last question. We're in Women's History Month. You
Yes.
talked about in your last answer, Councilmember Grasso's understanding of the importance of women in leadership roles and in public service roles. And so I have to ask your mom, your wife, your mom of a young woman, or
Yes, I am.
a 4-year-old, which is super cute. But what does it mean to be a woman running for public office here in the District of Columbia? And what do you hope that shares with other young women? We have a lot of Black women running the show here, but it's still not a commonality. And so I'm curious to hear your perspective.
Yeah. I think about this almost every day when I look at my daughter, Emerson Drew, and I think about what I want her to carry with her always about me as her mom. And while I love my son, I do. Colton is my world. My daughter and how she sees me and what she thinks of me is so important. And so I always want to make her proud each and every day. And so for me, what does it mean running? It is a true honor because my mother had me at 19 years old and named me Faith because she knew that we would need faith and community in order to make it through. And so she had a sacrifice that she made at that time. And that sacrifice gives me the opportunity to be able to run today. And, I don't take that for granted at all. I know that I am reflective of so many people in my community, other people who are single moms, who are raising young girls, other women who are, coming up in their career, up the ladder in their career. And I want them to know that I see them, that I know their story. I am living their story. And not only will I be representative of them, if I'm on the council, but also if women are doing well, the entire community is doing well. And so I think that my candidacy, what I want people to know is that if women are doing okay, then the community will be okay. Women continue to hold up our community, even when we are dealing with our own barriers. And being a mom and a wife, those are things that sometimes people ask me, how can you run for public office when you have young children? And my answer back to them is, how can I not? We have to show our young children that this is possible. My son knocks on doors with me. He wants to be my protector at all times. And this is something that we have to show. So, if I become the Ward 5 council member, not only will I be representing women who I understand their daily experiences, but I'll also be representing our seniors and the LGBTQ community and young children and youth and men. And again, when women are well, the whole community as well. And, I just think this is an awesome opportunity in this month of Women's History Month of seeing how far we have come. Just in the district and also in our country, but also how far we need to go. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that often women are devalued. That we are seen as not having the right experience, even with our Supreme Court nominee. Right? Do you have all the right criteria? And those are things that I have also experienced that people have asked of me, and I have to remind myself, no, I am experienced. I am prepared. I am the right person, and I have to keep speaking that message. So I think what it says to me right now in this time is that I need to look at Emerson and I have to say to her, Mommy can do this and you can do this as well. And look at all the other trailblazing women that have come before us, both my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother, and all the other women who I can't even begin to name, but whose shoulders I stand on. So, I think again, if women are well, and if women are able to be represented, then the entire community as well. And so I feel so honored to have this opportunity and also so honored to be able to show other women and young girls that I see them and that this is a possibility for them as well.
Well, if y'all are not inspired, I don't know what you're doing. Y'all better get on that inspirational train. Everyone, Faith Gibson Hubbard. Oh, you are such a light. And I am so, so happy that you came to see us today.
Thank you.
This is my first live of Women's History Month, and I am
Oh,
fired up,
this is
okay?
good. This is good.
Yes, this is great. I thank you so much. And, you know, obviously it's our job here at the AFRO to tell the story as you are along the campaign trail with your other colleagues in the fight of the Ward 5 City Council seat. And so please come back and see us.
Yes.
We'd love to keep up to date on all that is your journey leading up to this exciting race in upcoming votes. So congratulations on everything, and thank you again for being with us today. Am I still here? We still here?